one of our last Ignition GT Insights, we finally have managed to secure the CEO and President of Toyota South Africa. Saving the best till last. Andrew Kirby, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome, good to be here.
So you've flown in from Durban. You do this every single week, a couple of days in Joburg, and you live in Durbs. That must be heavy.
It does get a little bit tiring, but my basic structure is to spend roughly Wednesday, Thursdays here and the rest of the week in Durban, if I'm in the country. Yeah.
So how often are you traveling internationally?
Probably 6-7 times a year.
Okay, that doesn't sound too bad, actually, compared to your predecessor. So, Andrew, you took the reins 2 years ago? Yes, 2 years ago. And how are you settling in? It's a huge brand to take custodianship of. How are you settling into the role?
No, I'm really enjoying it. I think it is a big role, and I certainly, I feel big shoes to fill. I think it's a difficult time for the motor industry, though, and certainly a difficult time for Toyota. So it's had some big challenges, but that's exciting.
I was actually thinking before we did the interview, we're driving the Land Cruiser 200, which was recently updated. And I was thinking it's quite a good metaphor for Toyota itself. It's this big, giant, but reliable and solid and sturdy, and that's what people buy. It's a great thing to have, but it's also quite a difficult reputation to branch out of, in a way.
Yeah, I think maybe there's a perception that Toyota's not also quick to respond to market requirements.
Same as the car.
or maybe it's not always leading edge in terms of technology, and that is something we need to change, and we are changing, and we're going to have to work quite hard to change that perception as well in the market.
I mean, it's great to have product that is a little more exciting. It started with the 86. I mean, CHR now is fantastic for the brand, but still cars like this, we were talking before the interview, are performing fantastically for you.
Yeah, very, very well. I mean, it's very interesting to see how the whole market's changed over the last few years. We've never done so well in the higher price vehicles as we are today. And yet we have this tough economy.
What do you put that down to?
I think there's a move a little bit away from some of the, let's say, flashier vehicles, some of the premium brands, into some of the more maybe practical, but also resale value is a big issue. So when you're paying this price, people are a little bit more sensitive about strong resale values, which has really worked for us.
That's something, though, that Toyota is known for, is the resale value. How do you create that and maintain it?
Yeah, we work very hard at it. There's no silver bullet. I think the whole approach to supply and demand is one of those. We've got to be very careful about not oversupplying the market, and we're very careful about how much we try and discount or provide incentives behind the volumes. And at the same time, we have a very strong and supportive dealer network. We've got a very good relationship with our dealer network, so we try and create that balance, to make sure the business works for the dealers as well. And when you do that, you end up getting the benefit of good resale values.
It must be incredibly difficult to control how your brand is represented when you have so many arms. I mean, how many dealerships do you have around the country?
Well, we have just under 200 Toyota dealers,
yeah.
And then of course we've got almost 50 Hino and about 50 Lexus dealers. So it is a big network. But again, that's one of the advantages we think is important, that customers can get support and have support right where they are, no matter where they are in the country.
Right, I want to go back to what you said about your start, and that you basically filled so many different positions to get to where you are today. What did you study? And what was your first job in? I mean, did you specifically start working in motor industry?
Actually, I didn't. I've had a little bit of an interesting career. I studied mechanical engineering to start with, and then joined the mining industry, gold mining industry.
Okay.
As a mechanical engineer, and then decided to leave that industry, and ended up landing up in the motor industry.
By accident?
Well, I didn't target to move into the motor industry, but I was approached, and I thought it was a good option, and yes, I ended up accepting.
So, are you a petrol head? Or has that come over the years, or it's still just business to you?
No, I'm a little bit of a petrol head. My father was in the motor industry, and although he didn't encourage me to join it, I ended up
Why not?
I ended up falling into it. I think it's a tough industry. I mean, it's not an easy industry, and I think he wanted me to find my own way and my own career, and which certainly was the intention. But I ended up ending up in the motor industry. But I love cars, and also as an engineer, I enjoy that technical aspect of them.
So, if you had your pick of your in-house cars, is it going to be the LC500? or what car would it be?
So I actually drove an RCF for quite a while. That's not actually a car that's available in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
There are vehicles here, but that was a fantastic experience. And the LC500 I think just builds on that. So that's probably the most exciting vehicle.
In terms of product coming that we can look forward to from Toyota and Lexus, I know there's a big Lexus model coming shortly.
Yeah, so I think the big change over the next few years is going to be towards smaller SUVs, more affordable SUVs. Obviously, we know there's a big move away from hatches and sedans into crossover SUV style vehicles. And Toyota will be responding, and so will Lexus. The design direction is going to be a little bit edgier, as we've seen with CHR. And we've got a new vehicle platform, which we're calling TNGA, which is really good. It doesn't compromise on that comfort that we used to, but it gives a very nice driving experience as a driver. Lowers the center of gravity a little bit as well, and makes for more exciting driving. So that'll be coming fairly soon.
And now Yaris, obviously, with the new Yaris, or is it the South African version, Yaris? I never know. That's obviously now bigger as well, and almost starts looking and acting like an Urus too.
Exactly, and the specs are so high.
Yeah.
So we're very pleased. We've increased our volume more than fourfold with the introduction.
With new Yaris?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's over fourfold, and we'll probably get to 5. So it's more spacious, it's very, very nicely equipped, and in terms of the value proposition and what I think the younger people are looking for, it's very appealing.
So last year Toyota did a State of the Motor Industry that you held for media and interested parties, which was incredibly interesting, and there's so many things to touch on with Toyota being such a huge player in the market. I mean, there's taxis, there's stuff we haven't even spoken about. But just in closing, Andrew, what is your prediction for the market going forward in South Africa?
There's going to be a lot more focus on infotainment and connected vehicles, as opposed to just drivetrains and capacity. And then I do think we're going to not get a lot of electric vehicles, but a lot of hybrids, because I think hybrids are going to be a more practical solution in South Africa for at least the next few years. You know what's interesting about Prius is Prius customers tend to always replace with another hybrid vehicle. And after living in Japan for a while and driving some hybrids, you start to realize why. There is a unique appeal to a hybrid. I think over the next few years we're going to see those volumes starting to increase, not just with Prius, but with all our hybrids that we'll bring in.
The last thing I want to touch on with the move to SUVs, you guys are bringing in a fairly exciting product this year called Rush. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So Rush is quite an exciting small SUV. It's affordable, but it's got all the infotainment that I was talking about earlier. You know, that is really good, and it's very spacious. So I think it's going to be quite appealing. We're really hoping it will appeal to younger people as well, because that younger generation of millennials is really going to be biggest part of our market in the future. So it's important that we capture their imagination, and Rush will be one of those weapons that we'll have.
Well, we hope you have a rush on it. Andrew, thank you very much for joining us. It's been a pleasure. I'm glad we finally managed to chat to you. So much more we could cover, but it's been a great honour. Thank you.
Thanks, Lindsay. Thank you. Welcome.